5, 6, 7, 8. Girl, too long, I gotta meditate. You think it all, girl, you hella brave. You do it all and you ain't getting paid. Slow down, girl, slow down. Slow down, you gotta slow down. You can call and let me know now. We hate it when it's time to go down. Slow down, girl, slow down. Slow down, you gotta slow down. You can call and let me know now. We hate it when it's time to go down. Yeah, we got your Uber on the way. And you don't even gotta pay. We want to spend another way. We want to spend it by the trouble on the day. Don't talk, girl, I don't wanna hear what you gon' say. The only time you
Ay. Basi khuluma na mfana wathi sikhamba kanjani uLungani Gwala lo, aka mfana ka chocolate kid Leo. Say poo 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 poo. What's up everyone? Another day, another Sunday. Welcome to the Global Sunday Show. Oh my God, I am so excited. Before you call me talk too much, I'm just gonna quickly introduce my team. Mr. Laden, Mr. Pike, Mr. Laden all the way from the US in Arizona, and Mr. Pike all the way from Australia. Welcome to the Global Sunday Show, my team. How are you guys doing?
This week has been really exciting for me. There are two major accomplishments. One is we're going to be taking our arts curriculum, and the kids, the high school kids that take their training to become professionals are soon going to be able to be getting college credit while they do that, which is awesome. And then the other news, which is even more important, is I found a good recipe for Cinnabons that you can make at home, just like they have in the airport. And so I made a whole lot of those. So if I fall asleep, it's because I'm on a sugar high and then I'm going to pass out afterwards. How about you, David? How was your week?
Oh, that's lots of applause. Yeah, it was a good week. Actually, it's a quiet week. The week before I did a French show, cabaret, so it was flat tack and lots of travel and lots of busy stuff. Just painted pictures and cleaned the house and not too much. But music-wise, we're getting ready for an upcoming recording with a lady called Altoise Devaughn, who's an ex-Pat United States citizen, who's ex-Juilliard School. And yeah, so we're getting ready for that recording coming up in a couple of weeks' time. So yeah, some good things happening.
I saw that one landscape you did. That was beautiful. I think we should have a little gallery of David's artwork available to our viewers here on Global Sunday.
Absolutely.
Well, just on the talk of quick art, I know Lungani's rushing to get into our beautiful guest. They're having a sale at the art shop, and I picked up this oil painting, and I'll talk about it later, but it's just some amazing talent in our local area, so I was really pleased.
Beautiful. We are going to be having you as a guest soon, so I'm pretty much looking forward to that. And I know it's going to be amazing because a lot of people, they have been seeing you on the show, but, there's so much more than just this amazing person that you see from Australia. So I'm looking forward to having you as a guest. But let's, Mr. Laden, maybe take us to the next video and then we introduce our guest for today. Because I know he's all the way from South Africa and anything is possible in South Africa. So we might be, talking to him and then only to find out that there's no electricity or I don't know, there's a whole lot of things that are going on in South Africa. So we'll try and make sure that it runs very smooth, and we'll make sure we get as much information as we can from him. But Mr. Laden,
okay, well, I'm happy to do that, but does that mean that you just slept all week? You didn't have a week?
Nobody asked me. I guess nobody cares about
How
my
was your week? How was your week?
It was great actually. It was a good week. And a weekend. Now that I know today is the beginning of the week, it was a great week, and it was a great weekend. It was a very very busy week and weekend too. I've been working till like 7 a.m. sometimes, 6 a.m. Sometimes I would work from 6 to 6 or 9 to 9 or something like that. But yeah, there's a lot of things that I am working on and trying to accomplish, and a lot of people that I'm working with. So yeah, it's pretty much a busy month. And since we're getting to December, which is a festive season for almost every country, and as you know, we are very global. So, we work with a lot of different people from different places. So, yeah, which makes me, it makes my schedule very crazy because, when it's 10 o'clock somewhere in a different country, it's like, you know, 6 a.m. or 3 a.m. And, I have to, I'm okay, the crazy part is that I'm the one that always have to adjust. That's the crazy part. That's what I don't understand. I'm the one that always have to adjust. But thank you so much, Mr. Pike, for adjusting, for Global Sunday, because I know it's very early for
There's some
you for once. So yeah, that's my
Well,
weekend. My weekend.
also coming up, everybody out there, wherever you are in the world, check when and if where you are changes time into the winter time. In some parts of Australia, they just changed last week. Other parts they didn't change. They haven't changed yet in Germany. They changed late in November here in the US, except not in Arizona. I mean, it's crazy. We do need to adjust. That is for sure. But just check your time so you don't miss the Global Sunday. Everything else in your life you can miss. Just don't miss the show. And now we're going to go to our first featured video of the show. As you know, we bring you videos from all over the world. Sometimes the video you see here is the first time anyone has seen it. And so these are very, very special. So please enjoy this. And on the other side of this, we're going to introduce our special guest.
Beautiful. Welcome back, welcome back, welcome back. That was Ushasha no excellent abafana laphana bethi ene impumelelo, impumelelo. Impumelelo in English it means success. So they are talking to success. They're talking to success as if it's a living thing in a way. I don't know if that makes sense, but they're asking a lot of things to success. Success. When are you going to come into my life? Success. It's an amazing video. It's an amazing video. Yeah. So welcome back, everyone. Yeah. I'm just going to let Mr. Pike welcome our guest because they said on our followers, they said Mr. Pike does it better than me. So so I guess Mr. Pike, you win. You win. You win. I know. So please go for it.
All right. So a warm greeting from Summary, Australia, Rhythm. It's nearly 5 o'clock a.m. here in Australia, but I believe you're from South Africa, correct?
You talking to Rhydm?
Yes, he is. I think his face. Yeah.
Yes, absolutely. Yes, absolutely. I don't know. I think he got disconnected. Like I said, we are communicating with someone from South Africa, so anything is possible. There might be load shedding. They might just decide to go to level 5 of coronavirus lockdown. So anything is possible in South Africa. But it's okay. I'm just gonna play a quick video from Fontaine celebration, and then we'll see if he's going to be back. But yeah, we're about to introduce our guest, but he just got disconnected because of some issues that we're gonna find out about right now. But enjoy this video, and we'll see you when you come back. Hey, Mr. Pike, do you want to welcome everybody back?
Yes. Hi, everyone, back to the Global Sunday. I believe we're back in contact with South Africa, so that's really important because that's where our special guest is residing at this moment, Mr. Rhydm. Did I pronounce that correct?
Hello.
How are you?
You did.
Yeah, great.
I'm okay. How you guys doing?
greetings from the Great Southland to the other Great Southland.
Yeah, yeah.
What's happening in South Africa, and then we have to get us to introduce yourself. So we want to hear all about what you've been up to.
Right, right. My original name is Mtobisi Tebakula. I'm from South Africa. Well, a lot is happening here. It's quite a busy country. I'm sure maybe you can tell on the news. I mean, we just had load shedding right now. The lights came back like an hour ago. So that's how I was able to come back and connect to you guys on time. But yeah, I'm here, and I'm looking forward to talking to you guys.
Yeah, and obviously you're a very accomplished musician. So can we hear about where you've started with that and what you're doing with your music?
Right, right, right. So I started basically. I think I was in grade 8. I think in America you call it the 8th grade. I started writing raps at that age. I think I was like 14 years old or so. And yeah, now I'm releasing a lot of work. I'm performing as well. Whenever I do get gigs, I'm still trying to take my career further. I'm not where I want to be as yet, but I'm putting in all the work I can. And just a few days ago, I just dropped a music video. And another one is coming pretty soon. So that's what I'm up to. I'm all about releasing content and dropping more content for people who are watching, and hopefully they do enjoy it. And I have been getting some pretty positive feedback from the audience, so I'm happy about that.
Oh, that's excellent. Meet Mr. Ken Lutton from Arizona.
Yes, I have to say that when rap music first came out, if I had known that what rap stands for is rhythm and poetry, it would have had a completely different thing. I'm a director of a school, and so everybody's asking me all the time. And back then I was a dancer, what do you think of rap music? And what I said at the time, the very, very beginning, because I did not know what rap stood for, is I said, well, if it's going to be called music, there's going to have to be some kind of a tonal or melodic element to it. If it's just rhythm and speaking, it has musical content. And of course that did end up happening. But, I like to say on air as often as I can, rap means rhythm and poetry, and it is such an incredible, rich tradition dating all the way back to the earliest civilizations. It is not something new. You know what I mean? It has been going on for thousands of years. Anyway, welcome, and I'm always fascinated to hear, rap, the beat of rap is the pulse of our lives now, today. Right. And what's new in rap music is what is happening. And so I'm really, really glad to welcome you to the show.
Yeah, thank you for having me.
Mr. Pike, what do you think about rap?
Good point. My background was pre-rap, but I was in Shanghai, as you do, and was in a jazz club with mostly American group, and 2 American rap singers came up to the jazz group. So we were playing what they call fast jazz, bebop, what you call it. And next minute, these 2 singers grabbed the mics in front of the jazz group, and they started rapping a whole segment, and then the jazz group sort of fused in behind it. So that was my first introduction, and I'm just trying to follow the saxophonist and other people, just going, wow, this is a completely different way to present music. So yeah, it's been with us now for what, 20, 30 years, has it?
Wow.
Industry is growing. Industry is doing pretty well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know much about rap music, but I'm looking forward to learn today from Rhydm. So yeah, welcome, my brother. Welcome to the Global Sunday Show. Looking forward to having a chat with you and learn more about you and learn about hip-hop music. Yeah,
of course, I'll share as much as I can.
Absolutely. But I believe right now Mr. Laden has some news for us. Mr. Laden.
Okay, absolutely. Welcome to the Global Sunday News. Today is October 24th, 2021. I'm Kenneth Ludden, reporting for TGSN. In our first news segment today, we're starting to see the impact of things on others, on individuals, on nations, just the impact. Now, despite a decade of American covert actions, Al-Shabaab, a wealthy and dangerous group tied to Al-Qaeda, roam the Somali countryside. They bomb cities. They run and under complete with courts and parallel taxes, but it's completely invisible. This stealth quality of a well-structured and organized society makes it impossible for America and allies to find, and it is weakening the area in Somalia greatly. This is something that is very important for people to understand about government. Even where there is something that seems unstructured or is invisible, there are always structures. There are always organizational patterns. There is always a hierarchy of power, and there is always a flow of cash and a way of getting income. And so they have responded to the aggressive efforts since September 11th, 2001. They have responded by becoming a stealth government. And this is the first response that we're talking about today. Now we're going to jump to Japan. In Japan, the princess, who will soon marry, represents the third generation to suffer intense emotional distress in a country that often consigns women to rigid roles. Princess Mako, the 30-year-old daughter of Empress Masako, who herself retreated from public duties to cope with depression after the media heavily criticized her for failing to produce a male heir. Her daughter, Princess Mako, has suffered from post-traumatic stress disorder because of unrelenting global and public disapproval of her choice of a fiance, whom she will marry this coming Tuesday. She felt like her, this is a quote from her psychiatrist, she felt like her dignity as a human being had been trampled on, he said in a news conference. She thinks of herself as somebody without value, mirroring so many around the world who live in suppressive countries. Again, these structures, these rigid and often invisible policies and hierarchies have a tremendous impact on people. In Siberia, a region at the far reaches of Russia, Alexei Demidov leads daily prayers in a small church with his congregation. This church was founded in 1991. He and thousands of fellow religious believers consider their church founder, Sergei Torop, a former Russian policeman. However, they consider him a visionary and a living God. But the Russian state considers him a criminal. This is based on the accusation that he and his followers have created a religious group whose activities may impose violence on citizens. This is part of the expanding power grab by President Vladimir Putin in his effort to silence critics. And again, the suspicion that they might have commit violence against citizens ends up with them being imprisoned. And often those who enter the prison in Russia never emerge. And finally, the tensions are building between China and neighboring Taiwan, as well as the citizens and business owners in mainland China are also getting more and more at odds with the Chinese government. This is because of China's new aggression and exertion of extreme power, both militarily and in the socioeconomic structures of China. It is important to learn facts and to pay attention to the movements of cultures, countries, and even publicly expressed opinions. None of us lives in a bubble, and everything we do hits home somewhere. In 1977, there was a book called "What You Think of Me Is None of My Business." Well, as the evil of social media and the weaponization of public expressions of opinion become clear, it is up to each of us to maintain our own dignity and know that any action we make can harm another. When it is countries who do this, we are outraged. When our friends or strangers on social media do this, we are deeply hurt. When it is ourselves who do it, we don't give it a second thought. So all of you out there, pay attention to what's going on in the world, but know what you do has a profound impact on other people. Think before you act. Be responsible. And now we're going to go to a music video, and on the other side, we will go back to our special guest from South Africa, Rhydm. Hey there.
Welcome back, everybody. And Rhydm, now that you got you on our feed, I've got a question for you. Now, apparently, according to what I've been told, you started writing music when you were 14, and you did mention it was in the grade 8 equivalent. So what drove you to that direction? What made you start writing music?
Right. So I've been a fan of music for like the longest time, from when I can remember, right? Because like I remember, I used to sit at home with my dad, right? And he would have his friends over, they'll be drinking and they'll have like, some alcohol, nice food on the table and play some nice classic music, right? So I fell in love with music at that age. So I was like 3 years old, 4 years old around that time, growing up, right? So that's when I started loving melodies. And when hip hop got introduced, the first artist that I ever heard was Eminem. And Eminem was pretty brutal with what he was saying, right? And he would make music and he would say things that, like would get me thinking as a kid. I'm like, oh, wow. And then I started falling in love with his music, and then I would rap along to his music. But then Eminem is a pretty fast rapper, and I was just learning English at that time. So he would say things, and I'll think he'll say something else. And then when I'm reciting his lyrics, I'll be basically saying my own lines, but I'm thinking it's his, within the same flows and the same syllables, right? And then at grade 7, in the 7th grade, I met a guy who was my classmate, right? And I saw him scribbling on his book, and he called it the rap book. I'm like, what are you doing? And he's writing his own raps. I'm like, oh, people do that. You have to write your own. And he was like, yeah, that's what he told me. I said, oh, okay, cool. So since I was a huge fan of rap and music already, then I was like, oh, okay. And I had a lot to say at that time. I have like with my love of music and me loving to express myself. And then the Notorious B.I.G. movie came out as well. I saw that, and I was like, oh, okay, this is what I want to do. Like I wanna be a rapper now. And then I started taking a pen and I started writing my thoughts because I've always been an artistic and creative kid. So that's what I started doing. And I'll go back, I'll recite it for my friends, and yeah, they'll hype me up, and then I'll go do it even more until I fell in love with it.
14 is a great age. I mean, it really is, because, you're really eager to break out of, the lower school grades and being a kid, and you want to really step out, and represent in your life. So it's a perfect time. And, as so many, I guess many artists sort of find their grounding around that age. That's when, I think that's when you're mature enough to say, you know what, this is what I want to do with my life. Of course, then you have to follow through, which you have, thank goodness. And also, God bless your parents and the people around you for exposing you to music at a young age. It's interesting what you say about the words and getting the words, thinking you're hearing something and something you're not hearing the right thing. One of our faculty members, who has a master's in writing, and she's writing a book, she took a course in the different like metric patterns within rap music, which was really, really interesting. How did you, because it's very sophisticated, it's not as clear cut as traditional poetry. It is a very sophisticated kind of overlay of different patterns and things like that. How did you take to that? Did that come naturally, or is that something you had to practice?
Right, right. Good question, right? So what had happened was, so I started writing my own lyrics at age 14 in grade 8, right? And then I met a friend. I was in high school there at that time already. So that was a year after I discovered that as a rapper you need to write your own lyrics, right? So I met a friend who taught me the theory around rapping, like what rapping is. So he was in the same grade as me and he was also a rapper. That's how we became friends, right? Then he told me the theory as to what a bar is. So a bar is a line, basically, right? What a bar is, how to hear when to end a bar within a beat. So then you learn the simple patterns, right? So you know a snare, like every time a snare would knock on the beat, like that's where. So he told me like every second snare, that's where your line should end. So that's when I learned simple patterns. Like, oh, okay. And then he told me that there's syllable rhyming as well, where you can have multiple syllables within one line, to make it even more sophisticated, right? So he taught me those little things, and then obviously since rap is art, you need to do it your own way as well. You need to find a way that you comfortable with, on how to execute it. And since there's no rules to art, um, so as I learned that there's no rules as well, then I started doing it my own way, coming up with my own patterns, saying what I want to say, my own lines. So yeah, that's how I learned. But I started by learning the basics, understanding the basics, and then obviously you can always switch it to whatever you're comfortable with and whatever you want to make it to be.
Hmm.
David, I take
So
it over
quite.
to you for comment. I didn't mean to throw in an extra question there. It just sort of happened.
You all
Oh,
right?
you talked about Eminem, which is I do remember that period, and the question was centered around why the hip hop. Um, but I think that's self-explanatory. I think you kind of explained that you're in the moment without context of you're in that environment, and you took a big passion and liking to it. Have you looked at either at that time or now that you're getting a bit older? Have you looked at other genres of music like the jazz, mascandi, or other things to enrich what you're doing with the rap or hip hop?
Absolutely, absolutely. So music has an amazing ability to fuse and collaborate, right? So you can take any genre and mix it with any genre. If you can make it work, then go for it. So that's what I love about it the most. And yes, I do a little bit of R&B. I do a little bit of trap soul. I do Afro beats. Um, and within hip hop as well, there's many genres within it, and I try to exercise all of those as well, and be as versatile as I can. And definitely, you we sample jazz, right? So we can sample jazz, we can sample rock, grab some elements from there, make it hip hop, and then you can jump on it and create with that. So yes, I do. I can dabble into a lot of other genres, and I do believe that's where hip hop comes from. It is a fusion of a lot of other things that, you know, great people from other genres have done. We take inspiration from there and bring it here.
So do you have to, as you delve into some fusions and that, do you have to make some? Do you make the soundtracks, or do you work collaborate with other artists to do that, or do you do the beats part of it, or how's it work?
So I'm a writer. I'm a writer, rapper, and singer, right? So I'm basically a recording artist. So um, I don't do any production or engineering with the music. I'm not gifted at that part. I just love writing and reciting, singing and rapping. That's all I do. So yeah, I do collaborate with some other artists as well. If there's like a vocalist and they are much better singer than me, and I need them to sing like a chorus for me, then absolutely. I do ask a couple of people that I work with to help me in that aspect. I do also have a production team of the people that work in the background and clean the sound for me, make the beats, and then I just come and write and record, and then they engineer the song so it sounds great as well. Great enough for radio, great enough for TV, that sort of stuff.
Okay.
Hmm. Well, before you ask your question, Mr. Ladin, I just want to add a comment also on this one because, well, I'm not that familiar with hip hop, but I grew up around people that, do hip hop, and I watch a lot of music videos, and I watched a lot of hip hop documentaries and stuff like that. And one thing that I noticed, it's really interesting that you say you not a producer, and whatever that you know that you cannot give your best, you let somebody else do it for you. Especially in the collaboration, because I've seen a lot of people trying to, cover all gaps, and they want to be producers, they want to be writers, they want to be singers, they want to, they want to do everything at once. In which I'm not against that. It's okay to do that, but
Mm,
if you have something that is your stronghold, something that
mm,
that you can do best, then you can add some spices on top of that. But if you want to, you know, do everything like 50%, 50%, 50%, I mean, it's kind of like time wasting, and it's like you're cheating your audience because you're not giving them 100%. So that's really
mm.
amazing. I'm really glad that I'm hearing something from that, something like that from you.
Absolutely.
So, yeah.
So, so
Mm.
like what you're saying is absolutely right, and that's how I feel, right? Because people will ask me like, "Yo, why don't you make beats?" Because like you always say, I want to beat like this. I want to. Why don't you just go on Fruity Loops and like try and understand the program? And I always tell them like, "Yo, writing and recording is my strong point, right?" And I feel like if I was to split myself in 5 different ways, that will mean that every aspect that I'm trying to master would get 20% of my time and energy and focus, right? So I'll never be better than someone who's putting all their energy into one aspect of the genre, right? So rather I collaborate with someone who is putting 100% of their energy in production, and someone is putting 100% of their energy in engineering, and then I put 100% of my energy in writing. That combination will make 300%, which will more likely produce something um, even better than someone who's trying to do everything for themselves and splitting themselves into multiple parts of the art. So that's why I always want to like make the best music. So I'll always let someone who's better than me in a certain aspect handle that for me, because I always want to get the best out of myself.
That's something that's really important. I hope you listeners out there, the fans of this show, especially the young people, listen to what was being said here. Know what you're good at and really do that, and find the best person to do the other jobs. It just a really rare talent, because the reason that songs hit and last is because there's something in them that's universal and communicates to every person who hears it. So that brings me to my question: how do you come up with a new song?
Right. So with me, since I started as a writer only, right? So this is before I ever went behind the mic to record what I wrote, right? So I just started as a writer, and I always recite it to my friends, right? So I've practiced that so much because at some point, I think for like a period of 3-4 years, like I was just writing 3 years. I was just writing consistently every day or every second day, right? At least write 16 lines. We call it 16 bars in hip hop. Write 16 lines or write a song or write a hook. I used to write on a daily basis, so I had a lot of practice in that area, in that department, right? So nowadays, I barely do that because now I'm more focused on the recording aspects of it, because I feel like that is also very important when it comes to delivery of the music.
Mm.
So nowadays it's a little easy for me. Let me put it that way. So what I do is I'd wait for a producer to send me a beat, right? So if there's a producer sends me a beat, or if they make it in front of me, normally what happens is like I'll get a melody in my head that would go with what I'm hearing on the instrumental. So I love doing what the instrumental tells me to do, because I also believe that when someone is producing an instrumental, they're also putting their emotion in it,
Mm.
and they're telling a story with it. So I need to try and find what that story is and what the instrumental is talking to me about, and I then translate that into words, since that's my strong point. And that fusion normally works for me, and it will normally catch on to people, and they'll understand. So me and the beat would be fused, and we'll be intact, and we'll be telling the same story. That will make the listener. It'll be friendlier to the listener for them to understand, and find refuge in that song.
Mm.
So
Mr.
that's what I do.
Pike?
I normally start with melodies only. I thought like write a melody to the song, and then once I find the melody to the song, then put fit words within that melody to translate how I feel, and then beat comes on.
So under three general categories of topics for songs. For example, romance, maybe political change or call for it or a protest, and maybe other one might be just life or general. Which do you lend yourself towards, or you write for something?
So I try to, because I love making music that for that anybody can relate to, right? So I try to stay away from politics because politics will always be different depending on an individual's political views. So I try to stay away from that. But I do like touching into social issues. I do like touching into romance. I do like touching into music itself. I do love touching into the hustle, business, and what I personally go through on a day-to-day basis in my personal life. Because I do believe that in order for somebody to be your fan, they need to know you, understand you, and follow you. So I like telling you about who I am, where I'm from, what I'm doing now, and what I want to do in the future, what I want to accomplish. So that person can be part of my life as well, even through just listening to my music only.
Mm.
Yeah, because some writers in the hip hop genre they're very political. They're really into protest, and it's not necessarily a bad thing. It's just that that's what their vibe is. They really want to
Yeah.
talk about injustice or anything that hits chords with people that maybe low socioeconomic and all the rest of it. I guess there's some in the spectrum of the hip hop writing producer people that like maybe entertainment. I won't say that it's very similar to the Bollywood, but a lot of the Bollywood videos seem to be a lot about entertainment, creating entertainment based maybe on romance or something like that. So it's kind of interesting. When I write music, it's not in the genre of rap, but I usually like to get drawn to something that's important, needs to be said, some sort of statement that needs to be said. It doesn't really matter what it is, but it has to be. It's an important something, and it needs. I think music, and I guess hip hop does the same. It's a way of communicating to people in a way that they might listen to, that they ordinarily might not listen to a speech, or they might not listen to an advertisement. But it's a way of accessing those people's minds, their subconscious. So yeah, I'm always interested when I meet a rap artist, and particularly someone like yourself who's producing, where you're coming from. And you've kind of explained, that it's not necessarily, you don't want to get too political and those things. But yeah, there's obviously writers out there that are very polarized. They're very angry. They're very keen to use the medium to as a platform for their message. That's not really a question. It's a comment.
Yeah, I think if you want to add something, Rhythm, you can add, but after that we can go to the news to Mr. Ludden.
Yeah. No, we can go to the news. I don't have much to add.
Right.
Yeah.
Mr. Ludden, you ready for the news?
I am.
Right.
Okay, so as always in the Global Sundays, our second news segment, at least in the last year, has been centered on COVID. There is some interesting and good news this week in terms of COVID. First of all, there has been the development of a new pill that it does not prevent COVID. It is not instead of a vaccine, but if you do get COVID infection, it makes it so that you do not get as sick. And for the areas of the world where vaccines have been very inaccessible and slow to come out, particularly for the poorer countries of the world, the Gates Foundation this week pledged $120 million to help get those COVID pills quickly to poor countries so that fewer people will have to die. This is very good. Also in the news this week, Pfizer and Moderna are skeptical, but we found 10 companies in Africa, Asia, and South America who are well positioned to produce gold standard mRNA shots. Those are the kind that Moderna and Pfizer have developed. It's a new technology of vaccine, and it is extremely effective, and it can be done very quickly. The Fact is that many of the poorer countries that have been shut out of access to the most effective vaccines from Pfizer and Moderna are indeed able now to produce them quickly and easily. This will bring vaccines to the world much quicker, particularly to the poorer nations, and provide possible major revenues for those countries. This is extremely good news. There is a new variant. We all know that the Delta variant has had a terrible effect. And as the curve of that wave is starting to recede, there is a new one that is being called Delta Plus, and it emerged in the United States and Britain in the past 4 days. This variant is proving to be even more contagious to the earlier ones, and as have all previous variants, more harmful to those who contract it. It's due to the regions in the US where many are not vaccinated and refuse to be vaccinated that we see the development of this new variant. And this is what happens when you have an unvaccinated population. Even if people don't get very sick, the fact that the virus is infecting new people and spreading widely in a population leads to the new variant. And so this is, again, why it is so very important to be vaccinated. The United States Centers for Disease Control has now approved booster shots for the 3 major vaccines that are available in America: Pfizer, Moderna, and Johnson & Johnson. This will allow millions to boost their defenses against COVID and its variants. Meanwhile, the US has put into place vaccine requirements, which have raised a great deal of protest among a small minority of people. But the amount of the press that those few are getting is challenging the confidence in vaccines. And again, this echoes a bit our first news broadcast of today, the news coverage today, in today's episode. What you do and what you say, when it gets picked up, you may be one person that has a voice, but it gets spread all over the place. So it's as if you're 10,000 people or 1 million people. It's very, very important to understand that the things that are in the news are the things that are the most vibrant, that are going to get people to watch, that are all of those things. It's going to attract the most people. However, it's not necessarily indicative of everything that is happening. And so while these people who are protesting the mandate of having to be vaccinated to have a job, it is a very, very small number of people. And in the police force, there's a huge outcry, and people who are opposed to vaccines are saying that this is going to make our police force not ready. Well, in most of the areas in the United States, 90 to 91% of the police force is vaccinated. The percentage of people who are not yet vaccinated, do not have full 2-shot vaccines, or are opposed. So no, there are 3 groups in there. It's very, very small, and yet they're getting the news. So make sure that you do your research, and do your research not online with Facebook or social media. Go to medical institutions. Every nation has very trusted medical institutions that will tell you the true facts of the science. And with that, now we are going to go to another featured video. And at the end of that, we're going to go back to Rhydm, our special guest this week. Thank you for listening.
We're sorry, you have dialed a number which cannot be reached from your calling area.
Rainy days don't mean nothing to me. I got a little something. Say hello to my little friend. Composure is so cold. Best so icy. I'm so cold. I got composure. So cold. Keep my composure. I'm so cold. I got composure. I don't panic. I keep my composure. I'm so cold. Best surf icy. I don't panic. I keep my composure. I'm so cold.
Composure, babe. Composure. I just keep it so clean. Keep it so clean. And you know me well. I don't mess with no lames. to them straight in the face. I don't fuck with the fakes, I just come with the flicks. Ain't no time for it, ex. You don't know me well. All these bitches the same. Gotta rise just to shine, they can take it from me. I'ma grind, get what's mine, they can make it from me.
Rainy days don't mean nothing to me. I got a little something. Say hello to my little friend. Composure is so cold. Best served icy. I'm so cold. I got composure. So cold. Icy. I'm so cold.
I say I'm icy, yeah, I'm frozen. I'm shit influential, you know that I'm chosen. Big drip, baby, and my pockets rolling. Don't call on my phone if it ain't about profits. Tito on my side and we get cash, you know they diamonds. The music so impeccable, the sound is really timeless. Don't call my way if it ain't about the dollars. She a conniver, I swear she a liar. Hey.
Rainy days don't mean nothing to me. I got a little something. Say hello to my little friend. Composure is so cold. Best served icy. I'm so cold. I got composure. So cold. Keep my composure. I'm so cold.
Never the diesel, man, a villain gives a chill. It's never ending well when you go against the real. REGGIEMC is gonna spell magic on a verse. Yo, you heard it first. I'm Cheyenne, Wendy's, I'm cheating some water for your thirst. From the 031, got your sassy sweet. They want a nigga done, so it's never ever me. Got too much juice and the flavor be kiwi.
Rainy days don't mean nothing to me. I got a little something. Say hello to my little friend. Composure is so cold. Best served icy. I'm so cold. I got composure. So cold. Keep my composure. I'm so cold. I got composure. I don't panic. I keep my composure. I'm so cold. Best served icy. I don't panic. I keep my composure. I'm so cold.
And wasikhuluma nabafana bajethi khamba kanjani Lungani Gwala aka umfana ka-chocolate kid Leo. That was a composure by Tido Dandy umfana ka-Gwala. If you're watching, my brother, shout out to you, shout out to you. Yes, welcome back to the Global Sunday Show, and we still have Rhydm actually, our special guest for today. And I have a question for you, my brother. Welcome back anyway, by the way. My question is, what makes a great song for you, in your opinion? What makes a great song?
That's a great question. What makes a great song? So it's multiple things for me, right? Firstly, song needs to find a place inside you, right? And it needs to also speak to you, and it needs to also live for a very long time, right? So how do you achieve this, right? So how you obviously finding the right melody for the reggae, right? So melodies cause people to, or cause the ear to be friendly to the song, in such a way that the song is able to move you internally as well, right? And build the space in your memory box for you to keep remembering these melodies, and these melodies need to play inside your head even before, sorry, even after the song is done playing, right? So that's what the melodies do. And also it needs to be very relatable, meaning what the person is saying to me through those melodies needs to also mean something to me. It needs to be something that I can relate to, right? Something I can understand, something I can compare to an experience that I've had, or an experience that I've witnessed in my life, right? So that is also very important. It also needs to be well produced, right? Because an instrument alone can really cause somebody to fall in love with the music that you make as well, and well engineered as well. So yeah, that's what it is. Like you need to put your heart and soul to it, compared to and make sure that the melody is on point, make sure it's well written, make sure it's well delivered, well produced, and everything. So that's how you make a great song, and that way that song is going to last forever because the message behind it will stick with the listener,
Mm.
and it won't be boring as well.
So do you get a feeling when you write a song, Rhythm, that it's gonna fulfill all those requirements, or do you have to wait till it comes out and get a response, or is it a bit of both?
So sometimes it comes very naturally, right? But I always make sure that within a song, I always try to say something that I can relate to. Hopefully, so I need to love my music first, right? My music needs to mean something to me first before it even gets released to somebody else. So if my music makes me feel a certain way, probabilities are it may make other people feel that way too. So if I haven't accomplished that for myself, then it's rare for me to release that song or even make it a thing, right? So I always look forward to saying something that someone else can relate to because just like everybody else, I've been through some really tough times growing up or in my life, right? So music has also been a shield to me. I've also cried to it. I've shared some emotion to it. I've gotten advice from it. So that is also a trend that I want to continue. So which is why I've always used or put all the knowledge I have and emotion into making music. Even on the happy side as well, when I'm making a happy song, I need to bring those elements as well. So the person listening to that song can feel the happiness that I produced when I made that song.
You know, you're talking about something that in literature and a lot of written stories and also in the, you know, a lot of plays on stage, there's a character that represents every man. Now, of course, now it's no longer proper to say every man, so every person. But you know, it's the thing. One of the things about the artist that I always look for is a combination of arrogance and humility, because you have to have the confidence that what you feel as a person is something that people feel, that you are every man, you are everyone, each one of us is. But then also you have to have humility that you express in your answer of making sure it's right, making sure it moves you. You know, just because you decide something is important doesn't mean it's going to hit home, you know, and so you have to really, you have to be the audience of your own song, is what I'm hearing you say. And if you can, and of course, you know, we artists, we are our own worst critics. We are pillars of self-doubt. And so if we can move ourselves, then we're probably going to very easily move the public, you know, because they tune into your song because they want that experience, you know. But I just think that that's fantastic. And I'm so glad you said that, you know, about your own feeling, because that makes it authentic.
Right, absolutely.
Do you have Rhythm a whole series of like material that some won't be seeing the light of day? You've sort of produced it, you've finished it off, and then you didn't release it, or you just scrap the song halfway through it, or you just fix it up. How do you go about it?
Yeah, so I believe a lot of artists do this, right? So the music that is out compared to the music that is not out, the ratio is just very great, right? So the music that's always unreleased is so great. Like I have so much music that hasn't like hit the nets yet or hit the stores that is still within my hard drive. A lot of music, right, that I haven't released as yet. I do have some music that I have released, but I have quite a lot of music that I haven't released that I'm currently working on. A lot of it is also engineered and ready to go, but I'm just waiting for the right time, the right release strategy to go about doing it.
So would you say if I came to Durban sometime and you just happened to invite me over to your pad, that I might be able to hear some of that stuff on your hard drive?
Absolutely. I love sharing music. Like I love sharing music, especially with other artists, right? Just so we can inspire each other, you know. Like just because we do different genres.
I didn't mean to jump in there, David. I didn't mean to jump in on you, David, but I just had to say
that's a good point, because you know, you said you keep it on file and you might wait for the right time. So that's an interesting point. A lot of I don't think every artist does that. I think a lot of artists produce something and it's almost like an experiment. It's a wait and see. So you have a sort of feeling when you should let something out, and then if it's not, what it sounds like you're saying is that if you're passionate about that work and you like it, that at some point it might be able to be shared, but you kind of wait for the right time. That's what it sounds like.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay. So I have a question, an official question. How have you experienced the last 1 or 2 years, and what helped you? And it says in these difficult times. So I presume somebody knows more about your life than I do. Maybe you'd like to talk about anything that's been challenging for you over the last 1 or 2 years. I suppose the reference could be something to do with COVID times. It's affected all artists. Yeah.
Right, absolutely. So, luckily, currently at the moment, right, I have a 9 to 5 job, right? So, I wasn't fully reliant on music to get by. So I when COVID hit, I was still working at the job, and but it impacted me because as an artist, as much as you're going to be releasing music online, you also need to perform so people can see you, right? Because usually people fall in love with you when they're looking at you from the crowd, and if they love the performance that you bring to them, they may want to go ahead and, go on your social media, see what other music you've released or what other work you have, and also networking as well. Like going out, being in these shows, being in these spaces. You can't easily meet somebody who can take your career to the next level, right? So I've missed a lot of that within the last 2 years, because 2 years is a pretty long time, and if you consistently go out and socialize and meet people who can make a difference in your life, then it'll boost your career really, really quickly, right? And I've with the clubs being closed, no events going on, I've missed a lot of that opportunity. So all I have is the internet, radio interviews, TV interviews, and those do go up to a certain extent, but with the combination of performances, socializing shows, my career may be somewhere even further than it is now, if COVID didn't impact me. But that's just about it, I may say.
Is South Africa starting to open up venues, or are they still on the big lockdown?
So right now we're on level 1, so things the hinge is a bit loose, right? So we do see that the curfew has been extended, I think, until 11 p.m. You can go out to social gatherings up to a certain time, and usually there is a limit as to how many people can be within one specific area. But still, a lot of people sometimes, can be next week where the president can get online and say, we're going back to level 5, so now you can't go anywhere. Like every place is closed. Like anything can happen, right? We get really scared when the president is addressing the nation because we don't know what's going to happen next. It's either we're going to move down a level or we're going to move up a level, and the higher we go, the more closed the country is, and that's no movement for you.
So do you accept bookings, or do you just sort of say, we'll see what happens? Or because I do festivals, I've had to cancel 3, 4 times, 6 times already. Yeah.
Bookings, actually, I do accept bookings, right? If we are able to have a discussion and come to terms with the event and the ability to have me come and perform at your show. Right now I don't charge much, but I do have terms and conditions as well, in order for me to come and perform. If you can get me to your show and back home safely, if you have the right sound, the right equipment for the show to go on, then absolutely I'm gonna show up and perform. But yeah, it's just those things. It's just minimal requirements that I have. If you can meet them, then yes, I can show up and drop a performance.
Yeah. Mr. Lydon, I think you're gonna take us to the music video. You wanna do a bang introduction or?
Well, since he's on level 1 and I don't know what level we're on, and that invitation to go and hang out with him and listen to his music hasn't yet happened, and it's not possible We're going to do this instead. Okay, we're going to check out your video. It's called Only One. And on the other side of that, we will continue with this incredible discussion.
Yeah, and maybe
So here is Rhythm video titled Only One. Yes, Lungani?
absolutely no. I mean, that was an excellent introduction. Well, we're still gonna talk about the video actually, but I thought maybe it would be also nice to have him introducing the video. Please go for it. Also, Rhythm. Just say the name, the title of the video, and then say you're watching the Global Sunday. You're talking to your fans at home. Please go for it, sir.
Right. So you guys are watching the Global Sunday. This is my music video coming up. Up next is called Only One, official music video coming from Flowers on Raps EP. Hope you enjoy it.
That's what's up. That's what's up. Let's go.
Only one. Only one. Only one. Only one. Yeah. Most of niggas do not understand me. I'm too focused, I don't even need a plan B. I done turn my back and all you niggas can't stab me. Teach you how to spell, I'm out to chillin' like I'm Stanley. I don't even stop until a nigga win the Grammy. I tell these bitches wanna grab me. I done give a dick, she told me crushes in the mansion. And I ain't even speaking Spanish. Self-made nigga, how you actually living lavish? How you stay sober when you grew up with a family? Swagger's looking clean and I done put up with a bad bitch. Booty like a magnet, ain't no way I ain't gon' grab it. I'm representing my city like it's endorsing me. And selfish with the money spending till it's all finished. Neighbors turn around and look at me like I be off limit. Feeling like I am the combination, coming park Biggie. Started this shit years ago, but they don't see me though. My rhythms carry a tsunami, that's a crazy flow. Everything I touch is authentic, so I gotta boast. Look at me like I be all right because I gotta blow. But this shit ain't making sense. I'm in it for business, I ain't really making friends. I wanna get a jet and do my shopping out in France. And take the bucket list until I do it all again.
And I hope people at home didn't hear me saying and. Welcome back to the Global Sunday Show. That was Rhythm, it's La Payana, only one, only one. Yeah, but I would like to talk a little bit about this song.
Yeah.
Tell us more about this song. What's the story behind the song and what's going on?
So basically, how this song came up, one of the guys I worked with, who are the producers, sent me the beat. Right, it was early in the morning. I remember they sent me the beat and I played it. Right, so I put it on my monitors here at home, and then I heard the beat. So the sample started. Right, only one. And I'm thinking, man. Right, I haven't rapped in a while because usually I make singing music these days, and I say, you know what? I think I'm gonna go. Right, I think I'm gonna rap on this. Usually it started as a freestyle, right, and I decided to go and talk about how I want to make it in the industry, and I want to be the one and only. You know what I mean? The one and only to go of the rap industry in South Africa. So yeah, then I just wrote talking about how big I want to be, how successful I want to get. You know what I mean? And I was just flexing my ability to rap and showing, all the people I'm in competition with that, yo, don't let your guard down. I'm here and I'm coming. You know what I mean? So yeah, that's basically what it's about.
That brings us to our next question. We've been talking about the music and writing the music and the artistic part of it, but then there's the reality of being inside of any kind of world, particularly in a competitive world. where there you have art, but you also have commerce. So what kind of challenges do you come across in the music industry, especially in hip hop?
Honestly, the biggest challenges that we have is unity, right? So I'm gonna speak specifically about the South African industry because I'm not sure what the rest of the world is doing
Right.
within this genre, right? But in South Africa, I feel like there's a lot of unity that we don't have. There's a lot of competition in such a way that we are competing more against each other than other genres, right? Because there's no support from your peers, right? Um, all the people that are within the industry, all the people with connections, all the people with the ability to reach an even bigger audience, don't want to show you love. They don't want to show you support. They don't get co-signed. You just got to do it by yourself, right? And sometimes it's really draining because you know that you know what in my contact list I have so and so who knows so and so. I have so many people that could actually make a big difference in my life, and they see the work I'm putting in. Heck, they even compliment you sometimes. You know what I mean? Great work, but they're not going to pass your music to somebody else because I don't know if maybe they want to keep the cake to themselves. You know what I mean? But
Yeah.
there's no support. There's no love. There's none of that. It's just you alone against everybody else, right? I feel like it's I don't know if you watch wrestling, but you know when you're in the ring, I don't know what this kind of match is called, but like everybody, the last man standing, I think that's what it's called. Where everybody fights everybody just to be the champion. You know what I mean?
Right.
And I mean it's understandable, but yo, there's no support, there's no help, nothing. Right? It's just you and yourself and trying to make it.
Hmm.
And people
You
that are
remind me of
already
what?
in the industry, yeah,
Go ahead.
they don't also want to uplift other people who are trying to get into the industry as well. Yeah. So it's a mess.
Yeah, you remind me of what Lady Gaga said. You know, she was working in the music
Mm,
industry, but she had like an office job, and she had these ideas, musical ideas, visual ideas, and now we know there she had a
mm,
lot of incredible ideas. Nobody would listen to her. And then
mm,
finally one person gave her a chance, and she said that's all
mm,
you need is one person. But you know what I take as my position in life, when I was 14, I had somebody who was very, very powerful and influential in my world help me and give me a leg up, which got me an international
mm,
career. It is so important to give, you know what I mean, to help other people. And
mm,
man, I really, really pray that you find that person, or maybe it's this Global Sunday broadcast that is going to make tip that balance. But really, it is
yeah.
it is very difficult. The idea of competition can only go so far. Other than that,
Mm,
we gotta help each other.
Mm. Yeah. Yeah.
absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
That's a very, very valid point right there. But let me quickly take a few questions. Sorry, not the questions, but a few people who are watching at home, just to say hello and also just make a quick announcement. So I'm going to say hello to Mama Mia, our regular viewer. Shout out to you. Lehle Nhlapo, shout out to you. Shout out to Sbonelo Uyangamnelisa. Zaqa, shout out to you. Shout out to Carol Lee. Shout out to Sindo. Shout out to Frank for liking the page. Thank you so much. Zulu Pavarotti, shout out to you. Shout out to Glory. And yeah, I'll be sending some more shout outs a bit later. But I want to say if you can, please vote for Lasandra. You should remember Lasandra from our previous show a few months ago. She is nominated for Grammy Awards. So please go support. We'll put more details on our page. Go to the Global Sunday Facebook page, or go to our YouTube channel. You will also find information there. You can go to our Instagram also. You'll find information there. It's on our timeline. So yeah, I will pass it over to Mr. Pike.
Yes, another question. Rhythm is talking about competition, talking about people helping each other. How far are you planning to be able to take your music career?
Look, I want my see. how do I put this? You see, I want my career to go to get I know this sounds a bit crazy, but I want it to be Michael Jackson level or bigger, right? I want it to be Drake level or bigger, right? Because I feel like I have so much to offer. All I need is just to break in and get a platform in the commercial side of the industry. And once I do that, the sky's the limit, right? I'm trying to be I'm trying to be so big. So it's not I can't even describe it, but I'm trying to be really big. Like I'm trying to be like a legend, right? I'm trying to go out as a legend who made a big difference within the music industry when as soon as they hopped on. Right? I want to be Kanye West big. Like I want to be really big or bigger than all of them. I want to be the biggest artist to ever do it.
Mm.
And I have some amazing ideas that may help me get there, right? But now the hardest part is getting there because there's too many doors that are locked. There's too many gatekeepers. So if you
Mm.
don't have the money or the connections to break in, then it's you almost never make it. But we'll see. We'll keep on knocking. Hopefully someday somebody can open a slight space for me to get in, and when I do, I'm gonna run with it forever.
Mm. I
Yeah.
mean, I love the spirit. I love the spirit. I mean, I always say whenever I have a conversation with anybody, each and every time, I'm that kind of a person. When I communicate with people, there must be something positive that we're going to talk about. So most one of the things that I normally say is that, you know everyone that lives in this world, they own it. I know we have presidents, we have kings, we have, all these huge business owners that buys land and own it. But, you know if you live in this world, you can be anything. You can be anything that you want to be. Limiting yourself is
Mm-hmm.
just pointless, because the world is for everyone and anyone who lives in it.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I think that's a really, really powerful comment. And I hope, whoever is watching at home can really understand that looking down at themselves would never help them. Everyone and anyone who's up there,
Absolutely.
you know they are there because, they had these visions and these dreams, and they believed in themselves, and they told themselves that I can be whatever I want to be. So it goes to anybody. It's not only certain and specific people who can be something in the world, but it's everyone who wants to be whatever they want to be, and they can be. They can be that thing. So shout out to you, for sharing that powerful comment. So yeah, I'll pass it over
Appreciate it.
to Mr. Laden.
Um, okay, so are we going to go on to question number 9 or question number 10?
Oh, okay, okay. Talking
I
about
think
that,
the last
talking about that, your visions and what you want to be in the future. What were your proud moments in your career?
So there's this moment that I'll always cherish forever, right? Someone else may take it as something very light,
Mm,
but for me, it holds like a very sentimental position in my life, right?
mm,
That's when I got solidification as an artist to say, you know what, I can actually touch people and make a difference in their life. So it's when I realized that that's for me was the most proudest moment of my life. So what had happened was like I was at a show, right, in a different hood to mine, right?
mm,
So I was in the open mic. So open mic was pretty like a pretty big thing I think back in 2014, 15 or so,
mm,
where there'll be artists that are in the lineup, artists that are booked for the show, and then they'll give like an hour or 2 hours for anyone who feels like they have a talent to come and showcase themselves as to what they can produce.
mm,
So I was part of the artists who were in the open mic. So I registered for the open mic and I watched the show go on, right? So because of time, they decided to combine the open mic and the lineup. So there'll be a lineup artist doing two songs, and then there'll be a open mic artist doing one song. Right? So I was part of the one song guy. And then nobody knew me. There were hood legends on that show. There were hood celebrities, right? people that everybody knows, people that we listen to, we look up to. All of them were in that show, right? A lot of them. And I was basically a nobody. But I felt like I had this great talent that I had, and I was really great at it. So I registered, and then I performed, right? So when I came through, I taught people my song. The beat came in. I took the mic and I just went in, right? The energy, the passion that I had, like the anger just came out, and I gave my all to that performance. And I saw the crowd going crazy. Like it was like they've never seen this before, right? The crowd went crazy. People were cheering. They don't even know me. They don't even know my song, right? But they cheering. They have their hands up. They bumping. You know, um, showing me more love than they do the artists that they listen to on a daily basis, right? And then when I hopped off that show, like everybody was coming to me to greet me, telling me, "Yo, you great! Like I love what I just heard. Like keep going, keep going." And then this one guy, right? This one guy came to me once everything was settled, right? He like waited for me to waited for everybody to finish, congratulating me and shaking my hand and stuff like that. He came to me. You can see that this guy's not coming from like a rich background. Like he's really struggling, right? You can see that the guy's really struggling based on what he was wearing. You can see he doesn't have much. You can clearly see it, right? Heck, I feel like I was doing better than him at that point, right? Even though I was still at school, but I knew that I had shelter, I'm gonna eat and stuff like that. He really looked like he was struggling, right? So he just took my hand and he looked at me and said, "My brother, um, I don't know you. We may never speak again, but what you did for me today, I highly appreciate it. And I don't have much, but this is 10 rand, which is like a dollar or less, actually less than a dollar, like 70 cents. This is 10 rand. I was gonna use this for transport tomorrow to go to work, but I want you to have it just to say thank you for blessing me today." He gave me 2 5 rand, then he walked away. I was starstruck. I like stood there like, whoa, what just happened, right? And he just walked away, went back into the crowd. For me, I wasn't supposed to be paid for anything. That I was there was doing something out of love, but I was able to touch somebody so much that they were willing to give me the last thing they had to their name, because of my artistry. And then at that point, I decided I'm gonna run with this for the rest of my life. And for me, that day, those 2 5 rand coins that he gave me will always be sentimental, even more sentimental than a Grammy award. So that was
That's incredible. I love whoever it was that made that decision to take the lineup and the open mic and put them together. Bravo. We have to do that more often. We really do have to do that, because the stone may be beautiful or it may be not beautiful, but the setting it's in makes you look at it. And so that's really wonderful. And yeah, to have touched somebody personally, that's just an amazing story. I will remember that story forever. I want to go and ask you about a particular song, and what is the story behind it. And that song is called "Slow Down." Okay.
My favorite
So
song.
that is I love that song. I love that song so much. That song, it's it's a romantic song, right? It's about love. So I had recently had a girl come over to spend some time with me, right? And the moments were beautiful, right? And so when that beat came in, when my producer sent me that beat, like I started remembering all the feelings that I got, from that experience, and considering that it was like a brand new sort of relationship, and the thing, how fast we were moving, and what was happening on the day as well, like starstruck me. So I was like, yo, slow down, because I believe speed kills. Like you should take things as slowly as you can. But I really loved it. Like I was happy about the pace that we went in, but at the same time, I'm like, yo, slow down. You know what I mean? Let's take it slow before we crash. So yeah, that song came out. It's a nice dance hall record, and I decided, yo, let me just be happy. Let me just be happy on the song, hopefully I can make other people happy as well when they listen to it, because I was happy when that experience occurred to me. So I put that happiness on the song, and now from what I can see or from what I hear, it makes other people happy, and I'm happy about what that song is doing and what it has done.
Mm, mm. So did you feature anybody in that song?
No, just me.
Right, right, right. So you're the one that does the hook and everything. Mm,
Yeah, I do the hook, I do the verses, I wrote it,
nice.
everything. It's
I'll
just
see
the
if I can
production
play.
side of it.
Right. I'll see if I can play
Yeah,
that song for, for the people who are watching at home, like in the background. I think it's a really nice song. So yeah, Mr. Pike,
appreciate it.
please. Sorry,
Yeah,
Mr. Pike, please go for it.
no, I can see the wisdom in slow down with romance and slow down with business, they say. But anyway, it's a good theme. Um, I've got a question. In your career, from when you were young, how was the support from your family members, and did they understand the direction that you were taking?
So I'm usually a very introverted person, right? I'm hyperactive, ironically. I talk a lot, but I like keeping a lot of things to myself, and so like my family and relatives have learned to leave me alone sometimes to do whatever I want to do. So no one really interferes with what I'm doing and with my life basically, right? Um, so no no one has really been in the way. Like no one has. I mean, they when I do release a song, they do congratulate me like, oh great, but no one has really like said, hey, don't do this, stop this. It's not, it's not gonna it's not gonna take you anywhere. It's not gonna do anything for you. No one has ever really said that.
Mm,
But no one has ever said, yo, what do you need? Do you need money to, maybe shoot a video, or do you need studio equipment to do? So I wouldn't say that I've received a great amount of support, but at the same time, I wouldn't say that no one has not supported me. It's like they've just left me alone. I'm just doing what I'm doing, and everybody's minding their own business, and they're leaving me alone to do what I want to do.
mm, mm. Well, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, Mr. Laden, you want to go for it? I was
Um,
about to
well,
drop a comment. I was about to
uh,
hijack you. Please go for it.
I actually, in my script, I'm not on right now, but yeah, it is really interesting. Um, they're two different things that both help a lot. One is being left to your own, because if somebody is leaving you to do your own thing, that means they trust you. It doesn't mean they don't care. It means they trust you. And also it means that they understand that they are not you. You alone can make your statement. You alone can know where your feet need to tread in this world and in this universe and in your life. But then on the other side, it can be very, very helpful if you do have that support, but only if that support is unconditional. And that's I wanted to bring that up, because you don't want interference, but you do need unconditional support. And I think that what happens in a lot of families or a lot of groups of friends, I mean, I've been in the performing arts since I was 3 years old, and I've seen people's marriages fall apart when an artist is about to make it big, and then the people in their life get threatened by that, or you're not going to take me with you. You're going to be, you know what I mean? I've seen tragedies, and I've also seen the opposite kind of tragedy where somebody is given the keys to the kingdom and the Rolls Royce and all of that stuff. They just blow it, because with responsibility, with opportunity comes responsibility. And I've seen people that are handed incredible potential contracts, but the contracts have stipulations and they don't want to be limited by you know what I mean? Like it's really a very interesting mix of, support, independence, trust, and the unconditional kind of support. And yet you have to be realistic. If you're gonna start making sandwiches for everybody in the neighborhood, then yeah, the health inspectors are gonna come and make sure that your kitchen is clean and nobody's gonna get sick. That's not an insult. You know what I mean? Like the conditions that come with a contract are not insults.
Right.
You know, but it's a very interesting topic, and you are lucky like I was. I had the support in faith by my family, but they didn't. They let me do my thing, and that really made me find out who I was.
Right.
Absolutely.
Yeah. I
And
think,
so
yeah, I think you can just go straight to
go straight to 12. Okay.
Yeah.
So you know, and you know, this is something, it's always on my mind. Each one of us is just one of us, and even if you are somebody that has a lot of power, a lot of notoriety, you're still just one person. And everything we do, no matter what impact it has later, at the time we do it, it's just what we're doing next. So what are the small things that you think can help make this a better world today? The small things you could do, or I could do, or anyone could do.
Right. It's for one, the management of greed. If like as people we can find a way, because I mean it is human nature, right? But if we can find a way to manage it in such a way that it doesn't impact ourselves or the next person, then I feel like the world would be a better place. It's also understanding that as much as you are your person, the next person is their person too.
Yeah.
Right? Meaning my opinion should be mine. What I feel about any situation should be me, right? It shouldn't be objective to the next person, right? I should understand that there are other people are their own person as well, just like how I'm my own person, right?
Mm-hmm.
So it's basically minding your own business, right? And really being only worthy or careful of yourself, and not try to impose your opinions or your beliefs on other people. I feel like that should be a thing as well, and also not doing to others what you wouldn't, want to be done to you as well. That could also make the world a better place, and also trying to understand the society we live in, that we are different as people, and also understanding that with that difference comes different priorities, different opinions, different perspectives. So we may not always see eye to eye, but that doesn't mean we're enemies, right? So once people start understanding each other that way, I feel like the world will be a much better place, right? We'll learn to share, we'll learn to fight less, we'll learn to steal less, kill less, even be unhappy about other people's accomplishments because you haven't accomplished as much. Because if your neighbor succeeding makes you happy, then you'll always be happy because of people who are growing on a daily basis. And I feel like with that, we can find a lot of happiness.
Beautiful.
Yeah, that's a powerful comment. Yeah, that's very powerful. Mr. Pike, please go for it.
Yeah, I think that we often forget that it's the little things, the big things that we even do are made up of lots of little things, and sometimes a little thing turns out to be something very significant. And as you said, when your music, you touched that man that came to your performance, and you don't know until he expressed to you and gave you the money, his last money, what that actually meant to him. But we only see. Someone once told me once, as a psychology sort of a model, that I might look through the world in triangles. Somebody looks at it through circles. Other people look at it through a hexagon or square. So we, as much as we think that we've got our finger on the pulse and we know exactly what's going on, there's so many other perspectives that we don't filter and we don't understand. So coming to the end of the program, unfortunately. But what we like to do at this juncture is to just go around to the panel quickly and ask for any last words. So over to you, Mr. Robinson, last words.
Wow. it's funny, you know, I have a nephew, who his rap name or whatever it is Kane is the name, and goes by Kane. Originally was Hurricane. Other than that, I'm not in contact with the world of hip hop and rap much. So in the Global Sunday, every time we have a rap artist, it's just a revelation to me. It makes me realize how much I miss, you know, having been a classical dancer for a long, long time. If there's music playing, I can't concentrate on anything but the music. And so when there's, especially with rap, it's a very demanding of attention kind of form of music. And so I have to have everything be quiet if there's going to be a song on, and people don't do it that way, you know, so I've really missed out. But I just want to say thank you, you know, for again, just reminding me that there's this huge world out there that I have only just dipped my toe in a teeny bit into the most shallow end of it. And I really, really am grateful. And I want to listen to all of your music, the published stuff and the unpublished stuff. You clearly have a lot to say to the world. Thank you.
Absolutely. I have a lot to say. And thank you so much for having me on the show as well. I have learned quite a bit. I appreciate having the conversation with you guys.
Absolutely. Yeah, before you give out your social media accounts, because I know there might be people out there who want to be in contact with you. Yeah, I just want to say thank you as well. You know, thank you so much for making time to be on the show, and especially during these trying times. And, you know, I know you had some issues with electricity, you know, I mean, your schedule is busy. I've been communicating with you, you know, you're always working. I mean, it's really amazing to talk to you today. A lot of things that you shared really inspired me. And I believe people who are watching at home too got really inspired. Thank you so much. And we welcome you to the Global Sunday family now. You're part of the family. Anything that you do, anything that you release, let us be the first people to know about it so we can inform your fans and also our audience about, you know, whatever new release that you have. So thank you so much for making time to be part of the show. And if anyone wants to be in contact with you, where can they find you?
Right. I'll first say thank you as well. Thank you so much for accepting me on the show. Again, right. It was an opportunity for me, and I do appreciate it. I mean, people all over the world, you know, know my name now. You know what I mean? That is really big for me. Like, I'd love to know that there's someone who knows me from Australia, someone who knows me from America, the UK, other parts of Africa as well. That is amazing. I love that. This is a really great platform, right? So how people can find me is through social media, my social media platforms. I am on Instagram, I am on Twitter, and I am on Facebook as well. So my handle for those social media platforms is basically one handle. It's I am Rhydm, right? So it's IAMRHYDM. So I am Rhydm. That's where people can find me on my socials. They can send me a DM. I'll definitely respond. And yeah, we can have a chat.
Absolutely. Mr. Pike, any closing statements?
Yeah, just got to say, nice. It's always lovely to be on the show that Lungani puts together. He puts really hard work to make this happen, and it's I don't get to meet people unless I do this forum, just as you said, Rhydm, and I wish you all the best, and I hope you keep writing and go to those heights that you talked about for yourself. Just don't let anything stop you, and take all these people with you, your fans. Thanks for watching. This is the Global Sunday Show, and we'll see you next week.
Absolutely. And if you want to follow us, please do follow us on Instagram, The Global Sunday. If you want to watch the show every weekend on Sundays, you can go to YouTube if you are in South Africa, and Facebook, The Global Sunday. You can also follow our TV channel, Diverse TV. Shout out to you. Please do remember to vote for Lasandra. Lift Up is South Africa. From me, Lungani Gwala, aka Chocolate Kid Leo. I am going to play this track by this is my favorite track, actually. I'm sure if you're watching right now, it is going to be your favorite track too. So yeah, I'll see you next week. Bye bye.
Yeah. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Girl, too long, I gotta meditate. You think it all, girl, you hella brave. You do it all and you ain't getting paid. Slow down, girl, slow down. Slow down, you gotta slow down. You can call and let me know now. We hate it when it's time to go down. Slow down, girl, slow down. Slow down, you gotta slow down. You can call and let me know now. We hate it when it's time to go down. Yeah, we got your Uber on the way. And you don't even gotta pay. We want to spend another way. We want to spend it by the trouble on the day. Don't talk, girl, I don't wanna hear what you gon' say. The only time your mouth should move is when it's time to play. Put your tongue down my body up until my brain. I know you're extra, I don't really like it when it's plain. Girl, lately I've been busy. I saw you find it hard to see me. The boys tryna get on TV. Poverty's a prison, I'm tryna free me. I'm not the type of grabbing free piece. I'm tryna put you on a yacht and feel the sea breeze. I'm tryna book you a resort for like 3 weeks. And blow my money till that day I'm 6 feet. I could touch the sky for you. I think I'd lie for you. Jodeci cry for you. Baby, I could kill a guy for you. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Girl, too long, I gotta meditate. You think it all, girl, you hella brave. You do it all and you ain't getting paid. Slow down, girl, slow down. Slow down, you gotta slow down. You can call and let me know now. We hate it when it's time to go down. Slow down, girl, slow down. Slow down, you gotta slow down. You can call and let me know now. We hate it when it's time to go down. Yeah. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Girl, too long, I gotta meditate. You think it all, girl, you hella brave. You do it all and you ain't getting paid. Slow down, girl, slow down. Slow down, you gotta slow down. You can call and let me know now. We hate it when it's time to go down. Slow down, girl.